Hello, everybody. I am James Arthur, he, him, his.
I'm JorJa Brown. My pronouns are she, her, hers.
I'm Sarah Brown, and my pronouns are she, her, hers.
And welcome to QueerView, where we take an introspective look at the world all through a queer lens. We've got such a great, exciting show for you all today. We're going to dive into some hot topics. We've got some viewer questions that we're going to answer as well. And we've got a fun queer history factoid. So, Sarah Brown, JorJa Brown, Brown and Brown, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah? Oh, just okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just, we're just setting the bar there today.
Oh, my dog kept me up all night.
Oh, okay. How about you, Sarah?
I'm good. I'm on like day 3 or 4 of this vegan cleanse, so I feel like my energy's kind of up. I'm feeling good.
You do seem like you have an aura about yourself.
Good.
I feel like if I were to do vegan, I would pass out and die. But that's just me. Because I can't just be eating rabbit food. But I just want to jump into some hot topics right now. So a lot of people are running for president. I'm sure that you know. There's a plethora of candidates. And currently right now, Pete Buttigieg is polling ahead in some polls ahead of, there's so many diverse candidates that are also running. And he seems to be polling ahead of folks like Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, Julian Castro, Andrew Yang. So why do we think that this is? Is this because, America is past homophobia issues? Do we feel like that Pete is going to represent the queer community? What do you think?
Well, I think that in a way, yes, he is representing the queer community. I think it's very groundbreaking that an out gay person is running for president. I think that's a great thing. We've come very far overall. But, that's just the only really radical or progressive thing about Pete Buttigieg. Buttigieg.
How about just Mayor Pete? Huh?
Mayor Pete.
That would be safe. Yeah.
The only radical thing about Mayor Pete is that they are gay. Other than that, they're white, they're cis. I want to, see him really I want to see somebody different. I want to see something that we're not really used to or that we haven't seen before. And I feel like he's someone we've seen before. Yeah. And there's some things I don't really agree with him on.
Totally, which is totally fine. Which I think also just speaks to the diversity of the queer community as well. JorJa, what do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Mayor Buttigieg is representative of the L.G.B.T.Q. IA plus community as much as he's just a representative of gay white men.
Yep.
I think that one of the reasons that he's polling so well is because he's one of the youngest candidates, and he's this sort of elite white person with this Harvard background, and he gives these sort of vague values and ideals, and I think that people can really project a progressive fantasy onto him. But he is not showing me a lot of effort to sort of connect with Black and brown communities, and he's going to need their vote. Anybody who is trying to be the Democratic candidate is going to need the vote.
Totally, yeah. But I think, too, something about him as well is, and again, I'm with you, Sarah, I think it's fantastic that we're having, to have a serious gay contender in the ring, I think it's phenomenal, and I think it speaks volumes to where the country is going, and in some ways it does seem like it's kind of normalizing, but I think it also does speak to the fact that how much just being a white man does still give you some privilege. You look at the record of Kamala Harris, she should be polling so much further than she actually is, and so many of the top candidates are still just sort of white dudes, and it's kind of sad when you have so much diversity around the ticket, and I honestly don't know how people really have their minds so made up. There's 20 candidates. I feel like we need to take time to really hear what all of them really have to say.
Absolutely.
And he's got his work cut out for himself. The last time a mayor was elected president, 1812.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check that out, de Blasio.
But also our current president was just a reality TV star, no political background. So really anything goes here.
It's a free-for-all.
Anything happen.
I could run for president.
You could, JorJa.
JorJa for president 2020.
JorJa 2020.
Let's get you on the ballot. All you need is 65,000 unique donors, and then you're on the stage. So
My
let's make it
name's
happen.
easy to pronounce.
So queer viewers, you heard it first. Hashtag JorJa 2020. Start, getting them donations in.
JorJa, Georgia.
There it is. So I want to kick it over. I don't know if you've seen this. So there's a new movie coming out starring Renee Zellweger, and she's going to be playing Judy Garland in the movie Judy.
Oh God.
What do we?
Just Judy.
Have you seen the trailer? What do you think? Are you excited about this? Is it a good idea? What?
Yeah.
I watched the trailer.
Okay. Thoughts?
I live for Renee Zellweger. I thought she was great in Chicago.
Yes.
And I like gay cry to Judy Garland all the time. So I think I won't pay to see this one, but I will see it when it comes on streaming services.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sarah?
That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Y'all are cold.
I know that's such a
Flooding.
millennial thing to say, that I'll wait till it comes out on streaming services, but
Isn't she a queer icon? Aren't we gonna go to the theater to support our girl Judy? Okay.
does the world need a Judy Garland film? I mean,
Right
is
now,
that really what
you
is
know,
needed in cinema right now?
Spending your time on that.
You know, let's think on that.
I do kind of love, JorJa, that you're just gonna wait for it on streaming. My actually thing on the list, she's actually lower. It's on my airplane list of movies. Like I have like, there's certain movies that I'm like, I'll wait for streaming, and there's some that are even less. Cause I hate it when I'm on a movie and I'm like, or I'm on a plane and I'm like, I've already seen it in the theaters. I've already seen it in streaming, so it's gonna be like my airplane Delta ride one.
Yeah. If you fly Delta.
If you fly Delta
if you
or
fly
anyone,
Delta.
and they're not giving us any money, so unless they are now, Delta.
Yeah. holler at us.
Hashtag JorJa 2020. Tune on in. No, we're not taking any super PAC money.
Yeah.
Okay, for this campaign, Delta. Get out of here. Also, just sticking on the movie track, I don't know if you're all excited about this, but our trans director sisters, Lily and Lana Wachowski, are tapping back into the Matrix. What do we think about this? We're going back to the Matrix. Are we ready? I see JorJa already dodging bullets over there. Are we ready to go back into the Matrix? And what would we want to see revisiting this? What would we want to see going back into the Matrix now?
Yeah. George is more ready than I am. She's already like got the moves like ready to
bullets.
go.
Honestly.
Yeah. I
Taking
mean,
the
that
blue pill.
was my first intro to Keanu Reeves was The Matrix, because you know I'm so young and like fresh.
I'm
and-
sorry, The Matrix was your first one?
Yeah. I mean,
Bill
I
and
knew
Ted's Excellent Adventure? Did you forget about that speed?
the cultural like
You
phenomena
just
of
skipped
the
out
90s.
on Keanu Reeves for a good
Yeah.
decade. Okay,
Until
maybe
he
I'm
got,
dating
like, a-
myself.
Well, I hope that they make it about reinventing what the Matrix was. I want to see them play with gender identity. I want to see them play with gender roles and reality. I want to see it evolve past what the movies were. And I think there's so much potential to do that, and I really hope that they take it. I mean, we've seen them do it with Sense8, which was a groundbreaking show, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, the diversity and the fact that the roles weren't dependent on the white characters, it was great. So I hope that they really take it and kind of run with it and evolve from that. Yeah.
JorJa, what do you think?
Yeah, I love this idea of this sci-fi analogy for like waking up and seeing the systems in place around you. So I think it would be cool if they sort of put more of an emphasis on what that looks like what it looks like to actually have your eyes opened and see what's going on in the world around you that you're sort of ignorant to.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also exciting because this will be the first time they're going back into it being their full selves, because they were Larry and I don't know, other L named Wachowski before, but now they are their full transient selves. And so I think it's so interesting too, because there's so many levels and layers that you can do that, tapping into the Matrix and being your true, like, where are you your true self? I'd just be interested to see what they do with it.
I would love to star in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, JorJa, you're gonna be
JorJa,
busy.
you're
running
blowing
for
up.
I'm going to be the
president.
CEO
You-
of Delta. I'm going to
Delta.
star in the
You're
Matrix.
starring in the
and be the
Matrix.
president at the same time.
Just remember us when, okay?
Yeah, remember
QueerView,
those little guys.
Remember QueerView when we love you here at QueerView. We knew you when. Last hot topic I want to get into. So George Clooney in late March, he was leading calls to boycott. There's 9 hotels led by the Sultan of Brunei because essentially they're reintroducing stoning by death, a classic but a goodie for specifically if you are engaged in gay sex or adultery. They're doing these like really, really prehistoric sort of Islamic laws, rolling those out. And George Clooney was like, hey, vote with your dollars, don't go to those hotels anymore. And then he became underneath criticism because he said, hey, this is a warning shot to other Southeast Asian countries like Indonesia and Malaysia. And activists down on the ground are, criticizing George Clooney for that. So what do you think?
Oh, yeah.
I think that folks with power in the United States tend to sort of have this attitude of like needing to swoop in and like be the police of the world. And I think that missteps kind of always happen when we try to impose on other countries. And I think that it sort of ignores like the domestic issues with homophobia that we're dealing with, that we can deal with at home, and sort of puts all of the attention on what homophobia looks like in certain brown countries. And I understand why people would be upset with George Clooney. I think that his intentions were, I mean, nobody wants people to be stoned to death for being gay, but I think that there were definitely better ways he could have gone about having this discussion.
Yeah, Sarah?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with wanting to, if you want to boycott something or really hurt a business, you go for the wallet. That's what people want to do. They want to, if you want to boycott anything or really make an impact, unfortunately, money is power. And when people start losing money, they start to notice. So, but I do think that there are people still giving them business. They're still giving business to those hotels. I think a lot of people are like, okay, whatever, George Clooney, you're not the spokesperson of the gay community.
Yeah.
We appreciate allies always. It's important to really educate yourself on what type of things you can do to really make an impact to be a true ally.
Totally. Awesome. Well, Sarah, let's kick it off to switch gears here. And you've got our queer history fun fact of the day.
Yes.
What do you got?
I do. One for the lesbians, of course. So in 1952, Mary Jane Meeker wrote the first lesbian paperback novel, which was supposed to be the resurgence, the beginning of the pulp fiction lesbian era. Unfortunately, most books back then, the lesbians always died. Cancer, suicide,
If you
murder.
were a gay lady, you gotta die.
Yeah, if you were a queer lady, it was like, yeah, you're dead. So, since then, we hope things have changed.
I think so. On the L Word, I think they all survive.
And no, Diane got cancer.
Oh, see, we're still doing it.
Dana,
Oh gosh. Okay.
I know.
Yo, when
Next
Dana
time.
died, that broke me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and also it goes back to Children's Hour, which was by Lillian Hellman. That play, she kills herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but can we talk about that bald cap though? That Diane wore in the L Word was so
Acting like y'all
bad.
don't got a budget, like it's showtime.
Yeah,
Like,
right? How
hey,
could you not
Showtime.
afford a real bald cap?
Showtime is no HBO, and I think all their money was going to True Blood at the time, so they were doing it on the dime.
Oh yeah, true. They didn't have dragons.
They did not have dragon. They don't have they ain't got that dragon money, okay?
I'm so confused about what we're talking about now. Like
We just went to Game of
the
Thrones for a hot
dragon
second.
blood.
But we're about to go to break. But JorJa, before we go to break, I want to let the viewers know that we're gonna get to this. We're gonna answer this after the break. We have a viewer question. JorJa.
Yeah, Kat P from Chicago wants to know, how do I have conversations with colleagues around gender identity and pronouns? I want to know, how do we go about normalizing the workplace for all gender expressions? What are tips and tricks for both gender nonconforming people and also cis people?
That's great. Well, we can dive into it a little bit before we get to the break. JorJa, Sarah, thoughts on any quick tips, and we'll dive into it after the break a little bit more.
Yeah. I think the best way to go about this is to sort of have an explicit conversation with, the entire staff of whatever business you're working for, and sort of like push an effort to normalize pronouns by putting pronouns in your email signature and introducing yourself with your name and pronouns every time, even if you are cis, because it helps it feel less like this shy thing that you have to do. Yeah.
Totally. Awesome. Well, we're going to get back to that and more of your viewer questions. In fact, we'd love for you to tweet at us at QueerView if you have any response. What are your thoughts on the show and anything that we've talked about? Are you excited about The Matrix? What do you think about Mayor Pete? And we're going to actually read some of your tweets later on in the show. And also coming up, we have more hot topics, and we have a special guest joining us. We have Shakina Nafak show up from, you might have seen her on Difficult People, because I said the name right. Thank you for the applause. I was practicing that one. You might have seen her on Difficult People, Jessica Jones, and she has a new hit solo show coming out, Manifest Pussy. That's gotta bring you back. So all this and more, stay tuned for more QueerView. See you after the break.